Drifted with the breeze, to fill them and to drag off their bodies. A chill in the air, the scent of death crawling. Full moon, the witness, as one by one they trespassed his ground and chose to take chances.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joffrey Noodle Legs here today. As you can see, I've got another Noodle film review, and as you saw by the titles, we're looking at Madman, which I believe came out about 1981-82. This is an Arrow edition, just a normal standard edition, reversible sleeve. Looking a bit tatty, the box, because of the old CEX sticker that was on it. You can't get that off, which is why people moan about CEX stickers, because it does ruin your case a little bit. But anyway, we're here to look at this film. As you can see, the film starts off with like a campfire and singing a song, and then it cuts to the old boy around the campfire. He tells them a story about our main our monster in this film.
Time for my story. My story deals with the man who used to live in that old dilapidated house behind those trees. We're not supposed to be this close to it because many strange things happen around here. He was a farmer with his family, wife and 2 children. He was an evil man. Ugly and mean. He beat his wife, brutally punish his children. He'd drink at the tavern and fight all the time. He once had a piece of his nose bitten off in a brawl and didn't feel a thing. It was a night like tonight, many, many years ago. Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, it was the same night as tonight. The woods, quiet and dark. The farmer, for no apparent reason, went stark, raving mad.
So he's telling the story of this killer that goes around sort of chopping people's heads off or hanging them. And one of the young lads there says, "Oh, what's the name of this killer?" So he then uncovers the name of the killer.
This fall, he's out there stalking in the woods, searching for people so he can chop their heads off with an axe. Or hang them from a tree.
You trying to be funny or something? What's his farmer's name anyway?
Richie, I have a good reason I haven't told you his name. A very good reason. You see, it is said also that if you say his name above a whisper in the woods, he will hear you. Because he can be anywhere, anytime. And if he hears you call his name, he'll come for you. And if he comes for you, he'll get you. His name is Madman.
What do you say? I couldn't hear him.
His name is Mars. Madman Mars.
He goes on to tell about Madman Mars, and if you sort of even whisper his name, he'll come and get you. So the young lad that asked him about it then sort of stands up and starts shouting his name out.
Madman Mars! Here we are! Come and get us, Madman! Madman Mars!
Oh, Richie, now you've done it. Don't you realize you're fooling with things beyond your control? The Madman Mars doesn't understand anymore. The Madman Mars thinks you're making fun of him. He didn't mean it, Mars! He's young and foolish. He doesn't know what he's doing. Stay where you are. We mean you no harm.
Anyway, so they decide then to call the campfire off, so they go back to where they're staying. I think they're probably I think they're supposed to be another sort of camp, and they're like the camp sort of students. I don't know. It's not explained who they are or anything like that. Anyway, so we join them heading back to their lodges.
Okay, that looks good. Let's line up. All right, get ready for a little double time. I want to catch them before they reach the bungalows. Double time in place. Go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Move out. Let's go.
So you can see the young guy, the one that shouted out, has seen Madman Mars watching from the trees above. So that's where we get to see Madman Mars. So being the fool, as there's always one in the film, although this fool doesn't seem to get his comeuppance. He's watching Madman Mars and see what he's doing, and then he follows Madman Mars back to his house. We then cut to the camp or the lodges where they're all staying, and we see all the others arriving back.
All right, you guys, you're released. Finish packing. Cleanup's in a half hour.
Then two of the women have a bit of jibber jabber about men. You may recognise the woman with long blonde hair. She actually starred in George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. She was the main female lead in that film. So they're having a bit of a jibber jabber.
I'm trying to get rid of you. Personally, I don't care which way they want it. Only make up your mind.
You've had an interesting life, Stacy.
Boring, Betsy. I'm looking forward to finding me one man, and I'm going to stay put.
Anybody special in mind?
A couple? I didn't say I wanted to stay put that fast. But my past is no secret to you.
We then cut outside to a couple of the guys, the old boy and one of the other guys, and there's this axe stuck in this wood, and I think the old boy has made a bet, if you can get the axe out of the wood, I'll give you $100. So they attempt to try and get it out. It's quite funny.
Come on, Max, give me a hand. Let's get this axe out of here. Come on, Dippy, give us a hand. Oh. Oh, let it go, TP. Oh, we lost.
We then join the guy with the Jack Daniels as he's going to the toilet, and he bumps into Madman Mars. We then go back to Madman Mars' house where that young lad is still there, and Madman Mars is back, and he seems to have brought that body back with him. So he's some sort of like, he's like a Madman Mars is like a sort of cross between sort of a sort of a Bigfoot almost, because he's quite tall and big. He's got huge feet. He's like a cross between them and some sort of like redneck who lives out in the outback, sort of like, you know, and he's just killed it. And so that's all I'm going to tell you. So what's going to happen? Is that young lad going to get out of Madman Mars's house, or is he going to come to his end, or is Madman Mars going to go back for the others? What's going to happen? We don't know. Well, I know, but if you want to find out what happens, you watch the film and find out. What do I think of Madman? It's a great film. It's so cheesy. It's so cool. Madman looks so silly, but it's just so cool. It's such a great slasher movie that doesn't get enough love, I don't think. Because it's just because in the 80s, so many, there was probably nearly 10 slasher films made a week. There were so many films coming out in the 80s of this kind of genre and this type of sort of film, you know, where it's like be it a slasher killer, be it a madman, or be it a monster sort of madman, or a Bigfoot or whatever. There were so many coming out. Some of them just got sort of lost along the way, because obviously the ones that had bigger budgets behind them and maybe more gore and stuff were hitting popularity, and so the smaller titles like this, or Pieces, or Graduation Day, and these sort of films were all getting sort of like almost sort of forgotten about, until later on when companies like Arrow pick up these sort of films, and then you watch them and remember, oh, I remember renting this on VHS and things like that, and then you start to fall in love with some of these crazy little unknown sort of movies, and they become a part of what you love. And Madman Mars is certainly one of those sort of titles. It's a great film. So the pluses of the film: the transfer is really nice. It looks really cool. It does contain some sort of noise on the camera, and also I think one of the lenses on the camera that they were filming had sort of like purple marks on the lens. And it's still on there, so it's obviously a fault of that camera lens. So sometimes in some shots you'd have a camera lens with like these purple little lines on it, but I quite like that too. That sort of adds to its sort of charm, and it's sort of like, you know, well, we've done it, we can't afford to go back and refilm those bits, so we'll just carry on with what we've got, and I quite like that. The kills are good. There's some quite good kills. It's quite gory. There is some gore in there, not a ton, but there is some gore in there. It is an 18, so there is some gore in there, and the kills are good. I do like the kills. Madman Mars is quite, looks a bit ridiculous, but looks really cool at the same time. It kind of reminds me of like I don't know, like a Victor Crowley sort of mixture up with Bigfoot. So it looks really cool. The acting's okay. It's not too bad. It does try to give you little stories of love stories and that in between, but they tend to not really go anywhere. But there we go. And I know that the guys that made the film are still in love with this film, and they still talk about it to this day and how proud they are of it. And I can see why, because they've made a real sort of cult classic slasher movie from the 80s, and it is really cool. And if you're into your 80s slasher, you probably already own this, but if you don't, what are you doing? You know, are you an 80s slasher fan if you don't own Madman? It's good fun. I'm not sure if it was on the video nasty list. It could well been on the video nasty list of section 3. Again, because of like the weapons that we use, there's like axes and stuff like that. So I don't know. I can't remember if this passed the censorship. I can't remember. My memory's quite vague now these days. But yeah, excellent film. Really love it. So I'm going to score it now. I'm going to score it an awesome watch and give it an 8 out of 10. I can't give it any higher because it does lack a few things, like gore. You know, could done with a bit more gory. It is gore. There is some in there, but I like it to be a bit more gory. And I think I'd like to have seen more backstory to Madman Mars. Sorry, guys, you're in the way here. But yeah, 8 out of 10, Madman Mars. Have any of you guys seen the film? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I thought it was great, and it's great to revisit it now and again. I've probably seen this film now about 8, 9 times, you know, since I've ever seen it from the first time, and I've never been disappointed of any of the times I've seen it. And I've never thought, oh, this film is rubbish. I've always sort of like giggled through it. I've always thought, oh wow, that's cool, and I've always felt it quite, you know, it's a campfire stalking monster slasher movie, and that's what I expect from it, and that's exactly what I get from it. Hello, little boy, little Sullivan's here. Oh, he wants to come and say hello. Here he is. Hello, everybody. Here's Sullivan. He wants to come and say hello to you all and say Happy New Year, don't you, baby? Yeah, he's a good doggy. So yeah, it's a really, really cool film. Absolutely love it. And I will watch it again. And I will watch it again. And the good thing about this edition, it's got a 90-minute documentary on here about the making of the film. There's so many good sort of like special features on this film because the people that made it absolutely loved what they did, and I loved that for that too. So that's why another reason why it gets 8 out of 10, because of the passion that's gone into Madman. Really cool film. Guys, go and check out some other channels for me, some horror channels until my next video. Check out Horror Hands, the Horror Geek Man B film, RS Designs, Pizzoel, I'm the Ice Lord, and Sarah of Horror. All great channels, guys. Till next time, you look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.